What is up, people? Today, I will be reviewing Mission Impossible Fallout in 4K, Ultra HD, and on Blu-ray, and I got that coming up for you next. So I just picked up Mission Impossible Fallout today in 4K, Ultra HD, and Blu-ray, and I usually start off with the Blu-ray first on new releases, and here it is. This looks kind of the way that I actually expected this Blu-ray to look. I love this film, but from a filming standpoint, I wasn't exactly amazed with the cinematography and the style of this movie. I just feel like it isn't the movie's strongest point, and here it definitely shows a little bit. But starting off with the positives here, you have great detail in landscapes and a decent amount of clarity. That is actually the highlight of this Blu-ray, just because anytime Tom Cruise is hanging off of an airplane or a chopper or descending from the sky, you will see just amazing vistas and wide shots, and overall, just the landscapes and the landmarks in this movie are just really well done, and I can't really express that enough. They are just crystal clear and a whole lot of detail in them. Now, you also get the IMAX frame rate here, and that is something really important that I actually wanted to see, and I know a bunch of people do want to see, and the IMAX scenes are just crystal clear and razor sharp. And I will say that as far as the detail goes on those particular scenes, it is amazing. From Tom Cruise's face to his hair that is just manicured and permed. It is really it's excellent. And a lot of just the action scenes that are shot in this way are just amazing. And I will have some problems with black levels here, but I don't have a problem with the black levels that have been shot in this particular format. The black levels go completely to black and give us a nice and inky black level that I actually do enjoy. Now, getting into some things that aren't bad about this, they are just simply things that I suspected would happen, and they don't really hold up to the 4K, which I'll talk about. Clarity here with especially close-ups is not the best. It definitely has a softer feel to it. It is not as sharp. And what I will say to that is a lot of how this movie was filmed, and I just feel like this Blu-ray bumps up against that a little bit. And as for the black levels that aren't filmed with that IMAX camera, in that IMAX format, I will say that they don't go completely to black as much as those scenes that were filmed in IMAX. They tend to have a grayish hue to them, and that is normally a sign of just black levels that aren't 100%. But that will not affect your enjoyment of this particular Blu-ray one bit. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It is definitely a good Blu-ray. It just doesn't hold up to what some people would expect. And getting into the 4K format, this is where it's at, people. Not only does this movie have a 4K digital intermediate, but it also was given Dolby Vision support. And that is one hell of a positive, in my mind, for this particular disc, and it makes the difference, let me tell you. First off, I'll say that the lack of clarity and detail that was in that Blu-ray from time to time is absolutely fixed here. You get so much clarity and so much detail. And the beautiful vistas that were in that original Blu-ray are even better here, and I will talk about that later. But as far as the detail in this disc, it is excellent. And I will say that when you're talking about close-ups that have detail in people's pores on their faces, this one is just outstanding. When you're looking at Ving Rhames and you see this guy and how much he has aged, oh man. Yeah, you can see every pore and crevice on that guy's face. And even Tom Cruise, you can definitely see a little bit of his age in his face in this particular 4K transfer, and that is saying a lot for a guy that seemingly has been unaged and untouched through time. And when you are talking about the HDR, and man, this is something that is just really it's just interesting. Now, the film-like quality just from shooting on 35 millimeter I saw a lot more of it, but at the same point in time, I really didn't mind it here just because of the way that it accentuates some of the qualities that I feel like they were going for with this particular cinematography. I feel like they wanted to make it look more like film, and I know that Christopher McQuarrie is a big advocate of film, and he definitely succeeds in this 4K disc. You will get grain, but it is nothing protruding, and there is nothing wrong with grain as long as it doesn't take away from the values of everything else that is in the picture here. Those vistas that I talked about on the Blu-ray are amped up here, and that is because of this HDR. And especially with Dolby Vision, you will get colors that absolutely pop off the screen with lush and just rich coloring that really just pops off of the screen. And I didn't mention this in the Blu-ray, but separation between the foreground and the background is largely fixed here, with it looking just totally just three-dimensional and really popping off of the screen. And I equate that to the fact that these colors just really stand out. It is just really awesome. And black levels always go dip to black. There is no grayish hue to any of the black levels. And as for the IMAX cameras that were used in the IMAX scenes that are in here, they look outstanding. And whenever you get a beautiful vista in the IMAX cameras, you can see every detail in the trees, in the landscape. It is amazing. I will give this 8 and 9 out of 10. Isn't reference quality material, but it is the next best thing. And getting into the audio, if you want to talk about something that is reference quality material, the audio here is great. When you hear the Mission Impossible theme in wonderful Dolby Atmos, and you will get Dolby Atmos whether you purchase the Blu-ray or the 4K version, and that is something that is awesome. But when you hear the score in Dolby Atmos, it just blew me away, and it'll blow you away too, because it is excellent here, even better than the score that was on the Mission Impossible 5 review. I believe that one was Rogue Nation. Yes, Rogue Nation. This one actually is better than that. I feel like it requires more of the height speakers, and I just feel like it is a more punchy, just gut punchy score that I really do dig. And as far as in action scenes, you have just heavy surround use throughout. It is very much a wide spectrum of audio that fills the entire room. This is very dynamic in that way. And height speakers are used excellent here. You actually have a lot of scenes that require airplanes and jumping out of airplanes and hanging on to choppers, and a lot of that in this movie. And you definitely get the height speaker use with that, and that is something that is just really excellent. And during the more quiet scenes, you do have crystal clear audio, and like I stated, the score is in your height speakers as well, and very well pronounced in the surrounds. And for that, I am going to give this a 10 out of 10. This is an awesome audio track. And getting into the digital copy here, supposedly you are supposed to be able to unlock the 4K version of this film on iTunes and on Vudu, but unfortunately I wasn't able to, only the 1080p version. So take this with a grain of salt, but supposedly you are supposed to be able to do that, but unfortunately my TV wasn't, and usually it is damn good at that. So take that with a grain of salt. And getting into the special features here, this will absolutely make up for that digital copy just because of the fact that you get a whole lot of special features here. And all of the audio commentaries are on the Blu-ray and 4K disc, and you actually get 3 audio commentaries, and then you actually get the score of the film in 5.1 surround sound that you can listen to, and that is something really cool that more films should do. So the first audio commentary is with Christopher McQuarrie and with Tom Cruise, and I love it when Tom Cruise talks about his films. You know, say what you want about the guy, but he is definitely energetic, and it comes through here. He's an electric personality, and he gets very technical with his films. He's very involved, and you get that here. And yeah, that is something that you definitely can listen to in this and understand, because he goes in through almost every aspect of a lot of the action in this film. And yeah, that is something that is just really cool, and it helps you decipher the little nuggets that are put in this movie to reference other Mission Impossible films. And getting into the second audio commentary, that is actually with Christopher McQuarrie and the editor, and they go through the overall pacing of this film and things that they had to cut out of it. And that is a little bit lesser of an audio commentary track, just because of the fact that I don't feel like it goes into as much, but I did find it enjoyable. And then you have one that the composer goes through, and that is something that is actually interesting, because he has a process in which he goes through basically going through the script and coming up with the score of the film as he's watching it, and it is just something that is just really cool for him to go through the step-by-step process of. And the rest of the special features are actually on a separate Blu-ray disc, and there is a whole hell of a lot there. And the first featurette that you will get here is a 54-minute 7-part documentary that goes into a lot of the action scenes. Every single action scene, to be quite honest with you. This is a very action-packed film, and they will break every single bit of it down for you here. And along with that, they will actually break down characters and character motivations that really add something to the film, just because it just goes a little deeper into these characters. You also get a very short featurette that goes into the composer and how he went about composing the film. I feel like it is nothing that you don't get in the audio commentary, but hey, some people don't really like listening to all of the audio commentary, so here it is for you. And then there is a little bit of a rehash featurette that goes into all of the stunts. I do feel like they go over it a lot better in that 54-minute documentary, but here it is in just a 3-minute chunk here. And then you get production stills, deleted scenes. There is a decent amount here, and all of the audio commentary tracks are on the Blu-ray and the 4K version, and they actually give you the entire score in 5.1 along with a decent featurette for you guys to watch on a separate disc. Hey, listen, this is a hell of a deal that I am actually going to give an 8 out of 10 to. This is just a real good amount of special features here. And getting into my last looks at Mission Impossible Fallout, look, I feel like we're going to look back at this movie and realize that it is one of the best action films to come out in the past couple of years, just because of really just how well done the action is in this film, and I can't express that enough. This is just a damn good action film, and that is largely because of Tom Cruise and his dedication to this franchise. He goes all out for it. And then you get into the plot here that is a lot better and more clear and concise than a lot of the other Mission Impossible films. And if you pay attention, you will notice key things that reference older Mission Impossible films. I feel like this movie actually brings them all together. And if you didn't watch my Mission Impossible Fallout movie review that I reviewed when it came out in theaters, I actually gave this a 10 out of 10. I felt like this is a real landmark for filmmaking, and it will be a classic action film as time goes on. And when you add up all my scores for Mission Impossible Fallout on Blu-ray, you come out to a 36 out of 40. And when you add them all up for the 4K version, I feel like the video quality is a little bit better there. And that is why it actually comes out to a 37 out of 40. Any way that you pick up this movie, you will get one hell of a value, and I just feel like, especially if you have Dolby Atmos capabilities, you cannot go wrong here. This is what you're looking for. And so next, I do have to get back into my Rambo series and talk about Rambo 3, and that will be coming out to you guys real damn soon. And then after that, I do have to get into Evil Dead 2. I can't wait to see that film. And The Equalizer will be coming out as well. The Equalizer 2, I mean. And hey, I have a lot coming up for you guys. So subscribe so you know when those videos come out, man, because you know you want to see them. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't even need to say it. And I will see all of you next time.